Hey Mark, I woke up and after chilling out a little bit, went through your email about I'm going to destroy your dreams, and I couldn't resist recording a video because it sounds like your observations on the path greatly my observations could complement it really well, and I'm just like you. I like to take it one step a little bit further or deeper, and there are a couple of things I wanted to comment on. The first, actually the most important one that made me want to record this video was to do about the dream that you could play for a long time inside your head, even in school, being entertained by this dream of playing the guitar and in front of hundreds or thousands of screaming fans, no matter how cheesy the song was. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing it. Straight away, what I feel as a woman, as a human, is, and this is something I learned for myself in the last year, the power of fantasy and what is the nature, why do we have fantasies, why do I have fantasies, and what are they trying to show me, about my needs in the two-way perspective. It's like a paradox inside every human, I believe, and inside me. On the one paradox level, I'm a human in this body and I have certain needs. They're like obvious needs, like feeling safe, having enough money to sustain my body, with food, feeling that I'm alive, that I'm touched, I'm loved. So their needs, the human needs. And then the other paradox is the actually, the spiritual path, that actually I don't really need anything. I have everything, and I, trust universe and all the dreams out there that are marketed to me. They're just illusions, and that the universe or the nature or God or Buddha or the spirit, it already given me everything that I need, and through my dreams it sends me, through my dreams and through my bliss, things that make me feel, I wish this was that, or this is so nice. So through these little dreams, it gives me like little knock knock knock, this is something I'd like you to do. They're like flag posts. So, and I think these two paradoxes are married together in one fantasy, and that's why fantasy is really worthwhile to study for you, probably for me for sure. And when I journeyed with this fantasy inside myself, the word fantasy and different things that were popping up through the year, I saw that it was merely a sign. It was a way that soul expressed herself, her needs, because we don't really have any more. The majority of people don't really have intuition developed that much, and we forgot how to listen to ourselves, to our bodies needs, what to eat, what not to eat, to our to differentiate between the desire of a fantasy, which could be based on some neurosis or a wound, actually just a wound from childhood, or a desire which is driven by the greater universe, which is the universe that knows what's better for all humankind, and it's your responsibility to go and live it. Otherwise you're settling for mediocrity, for what was given to you when you were born in your hands. And I guess through my life, but more in the last 4 years when I became more spiritual, how it started for me is this quote that it's not me that doing things and pursuing things and following dreams and helping people, healing people, inspiring people, blah blah blah. But when I wake up, it's these hands. I look at these hands and I say, what is God going to do through my hands today? Yeah, and then I don't mean it in a fanatical way, God and I'm supreme being doing good in this world, but in a humble way. And my favorite definition of humbleness is about being open to all possibilities. And just like your friend who went and pursued the woman, if man and a woman are stable and they're open, they're awoken to themselves, they truly know themselves, they've studied themselves, they've put time into studying themselves, then they would observe before coming together the fantasies that flow up, the expectations, the human side of needs taking over. I could comment a lot about this because I see it in me all the time floating, and I just observe it, and I love studying it because it purifies my heart, and the more it purifies my heart, the more I will be available to others. My love would be available to others. Okay, off the point. I'd like to go back to your dream. If I'm allowed to comment on it, you don't have to watch this. The part of the spirit whispering in your ear, hey, get on the stage, play music, and be adored by fans. It could be more of a whisper of what your gift is, what your talents are, what you were born with, what you were given to share with this world, which you which you obviously already realized, because spirit speaks metaphorically, and like in dreams, and all it can show you just the feeling that you get from doing something. So what you were doing, you're obviously inspiring fans with your music, probably like countless screaming women, and that's what you're doing through your writing work. I mean, that's to me quite obvious, even though you came into my life like literally 4 days ago with a post about passion bullshit. But then again, if I was to push it a step a little bit further, just outside of the human side of just inspiring people with your work, but more into the spiritual side, guitar, music, you being a man, and all the screaming devotees around you, it's quite common thing in spirituality, in the symbol, the Shiva and Shakti, Shiva being the lingam, or the masculine, the thunderbolt, the consciousness, the energy of inspiration, your guitar and you in your male form, and Shakti, all the Shaktis, all the women, all the fans who represent like the devotees of you that are dance around you, inspired by you, and by you being that light, that Shiva, you're like an inspiration for all the Shaktis to dance around you and be wild selves. And that comes back to I can't remember the part of the article, oh yeah, about being raped and loss of control, is that in the spiritual world, like in the world of Tantra, for example, apparently that's every woman's dream, is to lose control to a guy who can hold it. So your article is quite magical. It actually covers all those points, that you are a guy with your guitar in your mind's eye who can hold it, and all the Shivas around you, all the Shaktis, all the women around you, or one woman, depending on your interest, she can go wild and lose herself. And through losing herself, she attains her true nature, because women are messy, they're wild, they're creative. And that's our gift to this world, it's our gift to the men. We surround the man with our bliss, our natural state of bliss, and that gives bliss to the man. So yeah, the guitar dream. Oh yeah, actually one last comment. I was one of those women who was one of those 30% or more who had a fantasy of what I could actually say, being raped. And 3 years ago, I had a very I was very lucky. I had a boyfriend, I had a partner who was very strong Shiva. He was a strong thunderbolt who held space for me to explore certain things about myself. And in one of our intimacy, when we were making love, I wanted to explore a fantasy. What was it? Yeah, which actually now I know was about being raped or being hurt. And when he kindly said no, I got very upset and offended. But then he invited me to take a look at my reaction and to actually have a look into this. And as months went by, I learned, and I've observed from other people, especially in the Tantra festival, or people, what is it, submissive and dominant, BDSM explorations, masochist and sadist explorations, I've noticed that actually it was the childhood memory when I was beaten really hard, you know, when we slap our children in a bomb, and that was kind of the maximum exposure to touch that I've received from my mom, because she doesn't really like to hug that much, but she beat me really hard one time over something really important to her on the bum, and that in my memory stayed without me realizing, but in my truer feminine, in my little girl inside, to me it stayed that this really means love, and I really feel alive afterwards if I get fucked hard, or if I get bitten, not bitten but like whatever, raped actually, yeah. And so that partner's gift made me look at my previous relationship and why I wasn't present to slow and gentle lovemaking, but why it was exciting to be, excuse my language, you know, it doesn't matter actually, hard sex. And that during it it feels excited, and now I know it. I call it brain sex. It's the fantasy of being raped. It's something in the mind that's unresolved, and it's just crying out for attention. But in the body afterwards, it always felt shit, you know? Well, in the coming 3 days afterwards, it just felt like I'm sore. So yeah, this whole important point you touch in your article about women fantasies about feeling raped, yeah, including the 50 Shades of Grey movie. It's like one on the human level is the immature feminine. It could be. I'm not saying everybody's like this, but on one side it's immature feminine, the wounded girl that seeks to be loved, and this is the only way of being loved that she learned in her body. And then on the spiritual side is a woman who just yearns for a man, for a pillar of consciousness, for Shiva, around whom she can just lose herself to her wilderness nature, forget control, just because he is so strong and he can hold her emotion and just observe her having her bliss. She can lose herself. I think that's it. Yeah, thank you for inspiring me this morning, and what a joy it is to have you on this planet, sharing your views with what sounds like hundreds, maybe thousands of fans. Oh, I remembered another thing. It's something, actually you might look him up, Adi Ashanti. One of the things I liked he said about this whole failure of relationships, just like you said, dreams. Oh, if my dream woman didn't happen, dream man didn't happen, or dream musicer didn't happen, then I'm a failure. I don't remember what he said, but what I know, it's an important fine-tunement that whatever happens, it's always for the best. Just like you said in your article, some dreams are better not realized, but you know, everything happens for the best. And it's never personal, you know. Yeah, nothing is ever personal. Just life's exploration. Thank you. Bye.